room, deliver 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 room.
What up?
What's going on? Happy Monday, y'all. It is time for another installment of The Living Room. I'm your main man, Mr. Starvin Artist, and this is
your boy, Jaye Allen, and we cannot forget our host with the most, Buddy.
Hey!
Look at Buddy. Look at Buddy.
Yes.
So we are here to give you another recap of the week that has been television. And you know what? We love reality TV so much, we're going to focus on reality TV this week.
Today is all reality TV. So you ready to get started?
Let's get started on some reality TV.
All right, we're going to start off with R&B Divas.
R&B Divas on TV One, Wednesdays at 10 p.m. You know what? It was probably the 8th episode of the season, but the first one it actually was good.
And Stacey is like the Kenya of the show. We've been using Kenya's name a lot, so she's the Kenya of the show. She's the starter, the person that people don't like.
But Kenya's at least likable. Stacey, what does she bring to the table? She don't even bring like notes or she can't sing in key. I mean, you know.
Well, she came in third on the X Factor. I voted for her every time, but you know, you
know what? I should audition that season. I'd have been right there. Right?
Okay.
Right. But normally on reality, on singing shows, I just vote for anybody that's black. Whether they was good or not.
True, though.
I mean, like watching Idol, and I'm like, black people, 20 votes. White.
I picked Bonzel Solomon to win this season that Carrie Underwood won in 2005.
She should have.
Where is she now?
What happened to Bonzel Solomon?
Girl, where you at?
We want to find you. Call into the living room. 555 living room. Well, we'll go with that. They kind of got together real quick, and then they decided to go meet up with
Warren Campbell, who is Mary Erica Campbell's husband.
Shackles off their feet
so they can dance. Anyway, so they decided to meet with him to get the song together, and drama ensues again.
Yes, it did. You know, just like last year when they were doing the Puerto Rico song, all the women couldn't agree on what it was to do and what it was to do. But there was for a charity.
It was for a charity. And, you know, at some point I'm just like, they need to carry around a picture of Leela's friend and just be like, hey,
this is what
we're doing this for her. Let's stop arguing. It's about cancer.
This is what we're doing. But, you know, Warren knew a lot of the ladies from last season, but didn't know the voices of Brave and Stacey. So Stacey took this as an opportunity to give her big audition. Right. So she was auditioning for the role of Effie on Broadway.
So Warren's like, okay, let me just hear your voice. And she's like, Amazing Grace.
And it took every bit of about 8 minutes for her to get through Amazing Grace, which is not that long of a song.
Oh my God.
Lower, and back up again. Yeah. And that's what she did. And the faces of the women, they were like, hey. But the best face of all belongs to that of Brave. Because Brave knew she had to follow up that nonsense. So instead of Brave on that nonsense with all the riffs and runs and scats and stuff,
I'm a rapper.
I rap. You know what she did? She rapped. She rapped Stacey right under the table. For real.
Yes, so she rapped. And then it also, Warren Campbell decides to address the fact that, you know, Shantae called his sister to ask her to write on it. He was like, I'm not saying it's shady. I'm not saying it's
I don't feel like Warren was saying it was shady. I just feel like, you know, Shantae's not a writer.
Well, he was bringing it up.
He did bring it up. But, like, Shantae's not a writer. A lot of the other women are writers.
Right.
So, you know, she was going to somebody else actually going to write her part for her. But Stacey has been there like 2 weeks. She took it as an issue.
Right. She was like, it is shady. We're going to call it shady. We're not going to thank you, God, Father, to Jesus about it.
And then she started to shade old Brave, the rapper from Baltimore.
Prayed about it. So it was just a bit mess. And then they go back and Shantae was like, well, can we get 1% of the profits from the song?
So she wanted 1% of a charity.
Well, you know, she
paying Kenny that alimony and palimony and them kids and all that, and Kadeem Hudson.
All right. But Kadeem working now.
Kadeem's working. He's on Disney. He's on Disney.
Yes, but you know, and she had no song on the radio since
Shantae's got a man.
No,
what else she had on there after that?
She had a recent CD that came out.
She's had CDs. I'm talking about the radio.
No, she did.
What?
You remember that, buddy?
I don't remember the song, but she had a good song on the radio.
If you don't remember it, then, buddy, I can't say that it.
I mean, she was trying to get people to sing background for free.
Yeah.
So, anyways, so they were like, "No, this is for cancer. All 100% of the proceeds, 100% is going to cancer." So the next day, Miss Chalet, Brave, and Stacy decide to meet for dinner.
Yes, they do. But why?
For lunch, actually. And so because Brave has basically felt like Stacy tried to shade her because she mentioned that Brave just randomly started praying.
Here's my thing with all these shows. The Housewives, the R&B Divas, the Married to Medicine Youngins, all of them. Whenever they get together at a dinner table or around some food or whatever, it never works out. I was like, I can't make it. I can't make it. Because it's always going to be, remember back on Love and Hip Hop, what's her face was shaking tables and stuff. So you know that they can't eat together. They just shouldn't.
So, Brave asked Stacy a question, and then they start getting an argument. Brave was like, "Oh well, you don't want the Baltimore to come out," and Stacy's like, "Well, you don't want the Brooklyn to come out."
And Michelle wasn't even involved in the conversation.
Like, you don't want the Compton to come out.
And we were like, "Ooh, not the Compton."
Right. I was like, "Really? You don't want the Tuscaloosa to come out?
You don't want the Fort Wash to come out?
You don't want the Northport, Berea, Kentucky?
You don't want the Shirlington to come out? Ooh, get it, Shirlington.
Bam!
Ooh.
What?
Sorry, buddy.
Yes. Well, anyway, so
but that's how that whole thing went down, and it was a fight that was actually resolved, though. So that kind of did.
They said that they was gonna move forward, but
did.
I don't ever.
Oh, you know why they didn't move forward? Because Stacey invited everybody
to a show.
A showcase for her. A showcase for a 50-year-old woman.
It was at the Comedy Bar.
But big ups to you, Stacey. Continue to follow your dreams.
She had an original song called "I Live" or something like that. I thought she was about to sing the Beyonce. I was but she came out, and I was like, she was just singing.
And she did it, but she was looking for her girls. And she got the call, where are my girls at? Remember, she just met them 2 weeks ago at a birthday party with Jesse Jackson. And they didn't know she was even going to be at. But those are her girls.
So, yeah, R&B Divas is actually getting really funny. So, please tune in.
If for nothing else and for the laughs.
Right. So let's move on. We're going to move on to our ladies down in Atlanta. Real Housewives of Atlanta.
Get that peach.
Which actually was a very drama-free episode, which was...
You think so?
A little bit. I mean, it was less drama than anticipated.
I think that a lot of the drama was helped by the fact that Nene wasn't in New York City. Cinderella. Some of the worst line reads that I've ever heard in my entire life.
So
the creative director was like,
she was like, can I have two? She was like, can I have two accents?
Two accents. So can I play the queen and then can I go into my voice?
And can I give Nene? He was like, well, we don't want. This is from the classics.
A certain
we don't
period
want
of time
to urbanize.
We don't want to urbanize.
I was like, oh, that was a nice way.
This is not Atlanta 2015.
This is not Tupac the musical.
All of you hear me,
right?
Okay, but Nene was ill, so she couldn't go on this trip that Claudia planned for.
And the ladies are actually going to the Thriller in Manila.
Where Candy didn't know where that was.
In the Philippines.
But so she couldn't make it, and nobody was apparently surprised.
Well, no, or they were unbothered.
Yes.
And so they go on. First of all, everybody's waiting at the airport, greeting each other. Fraser gets there. She's sitting in her Uber car.
Man, like an Uber car. It looked like a black Accord.
Keep the meter running.
She got the app. She's like, trying to take time. But yeah, she was waiting.
It is Uber X.
But she was there waiting while her friends were all waiting out there for me, including Portia, who had to actually change her outfit from the time she got into her car before she had to get onto the plane.
Portia is trying to find a man, and she was like,
Amen.
She never knows. She gonna take to a sweat when she get on the plane.
Amen. But they all eventually meet up, and they get on the plane, and they take, what is this, a 20-hour flight?
Whatever, to Manila. They get there, their little
timeshare. Why?
No, what's it called? Time when you
the time elapsed. Time
jet lag.
Yeah, jet lag. That's what it is.
The jet lag.
Yeah.
And so
we both have college degrees too.
Yes.
All of that.
They decided to go to McDonald's because naturally you go to the Philippines and you want to go to McDonald's.
You want to go to McDonald's, and they have spaghetti at this McDonald's
and fried chicken.
I mean,
one-stop
shop.
Would you eat fried chicken or spaghetti from McDonald's?
I sure would.
You know what? I might try it too. You never know.
I don't know about the spaghetti.
Well,
It's gonna be good.
I'll eat the chicken.
I would eat the chicken because I
Yeah.
eat the chicken fingers from there.
But do you eat the mighty wing? But that's where they all
Maybe that's
went.
what they were selling. They
The
stuck out of
mighty
my
wings.
Well, anyway, so they go in and they finally get to their resort, which is a beautiful location. And Claudia actually extends.
Claudia did well on planning this trip,
Yes,
didn't she?
Dr. Claudia is filling in for Dr. Jeff. And you know what? We gave Dr. Jeff a bad rep, but this trip is actually seeming to kind of work, you know? But
I don't credit Dr. Jeff with that.
so Claudia extends the olive branch and gives Phaedra the biggest room there.
Yes, because she's been going through a lot, apparently. And
She's
that's
been
what,
going
that's
through
what
a lot.
Claudia feels.
And then the next morning, Claudia decides to meet with Phaedra, and she's trying to connect with her because they really haven't connected. So Claudia talks a little bit about her
her situation.
her marriage that was really annulled. So it wasn't.
It didn't happen.
Right. So
Yeah.
she's trying to connect, and so she was like, "Well, what do you think about your marriage?" She was like, "Girl."
And Phaedra went right to that face. I'm not going to talk
Discuss
about
that
that
with
with you.
Girl, I'm not talking about that with you.
I'm not.
And so,
But though,
They
right
did.
after that though, they there was a connection there, and Phaedra actually started to tear up, started to
did.
let down some walls.
yeah, they start talking about the fact that, you know, her children were really hurting. And so they really were able to kind of meet. And so, that
But
was
Phaedra,
great.
but you know, so Cynthia and Phaedra have been having a beef since this whole chocolate incident happened a couple
right.
episodes ago, and Cynthia takes it as an opportunity to get angry that Phaedra didn't cry in front of her because she's known her for 5 years.
And Claudia known her for 5 minutes.
5 minutes.
And then, you know, Candy tries to reach out to Phaedra too. They go get a massage, and Candy's wearing some kind of jungle outfit.
some sort of pattern.
Something from Rainbow.
2 for 20.
Right.
But yeah.
And so she is trying to figure out if her and Phaedra are still friends because, you know, Phaedra told her they was cool, but then, you know, the other ladies are like, nah, y'all not. So yeah, so they tried to meet to figure out their friendship. So, you know, Phaedra claimed that they okay, but I don't know.
Well, she claims that they're okay, but then, you know, when she goes to talk to somebody else, there's still an issue there. So, I mean, Phaedra, if Candy is broaching this subject, you know, and Candy's not for nothing, it's a newlywed. She just got married. She's
got her own thing
got her
too.
own thing
So it's
going
just
on.
like when you're friends, yes, I'm supposed to be there for
Absolutely.
you. But if I've got
Can
my
I
own
live?
thing, right? But
Can I
why
live?
Phaedra got her thing? Candy's going through a lot with her marriage, her family, her tour, which was
Her
devastating
tour.
to her, got canceled. Phaedra also has a responsibility.
And her mama in and of itself is more than enough to have to deal with.
And then Phaedra was basically like, "Oh, really? A tour and my marriage is falling apart?" It doesn't matter. Just because it doesn't seem like it's a lot to you doesn't mean it's not a lot to her.
It's not your story.
Right,
Phaedra.
you're not being a good friend to Candy either. So, I hope these two ladies can work it out.
I do
Because
too.
They really, you know, she called her the Instagram queen because she was mad that.
Well, you know
Candy
what?
was taking
I
pictures.
follow you, Miss Candy Burst, on Instagram, and seriously, you're in my feed like every 3 to 4 minutes.
And I kind
with a new
of
picture.
thought that statement she said about, well, if I had $1 million to sleep, I'll sleep comfortable every night. I mean, money
shady.
doesn't make you happy.
Maybe.
It doesn't. I mean, it doesn't. Yeah, and it doesn't mean like she's still having problems with her money. I mean, not her money, but her family. $1 million is not fixing that. $1 million is not keeping her mama like from acting a fool.
And have you seen Riley's shorts? I'm just saying.
Let's talk about why Riley ran track. I saw a post of Candy saying she was at Riley track meet.
Was she? She is one of the most sizable 11-year-olds I've ever seen.
She probably need a shot.
Whoa! But like, look at Riley Burris.
Olivia. This is so bad. I'm so sorry.
Candy, we love you and we love your daughter and we love Taj's daughter too. Kayla.
So I should not be talking about her. Anyways, so anyways, they go and have yoga.
They do have yoga.
And they're doing yoga. First of all, Candy can't do the stretch.
She can, but she's not really even trying. So Candy like gets down into the poses and be like,
this is her sleep.
That's her. She sleeps. Just like that.
But then she wakes up and then the lady's turning over. She gonna be like,
like she was doing it the whole time.
Thank you, buddy.
Thank you, buddy. Yes, improv by Buddy.
And then they end the night with having a dinner.
Another dinner.
Yeah. And actually, this dinner wasn't too bad.
This dinner, it actually even starts off well. They all come in and excited to see each other.
Candy, Portia and Cynthia are laughing and talking with each other. Yeah. And,
Claudia and Portia are talking.
Everybody's enjoying it. And then they try to get Cynthia and Phaedra to kind of connect. But, eventually they were able to connect. Phaedra still had a little guard up. But I think she kind of was just like...
She did, but after a while, she was like, after... Claudia's intention was to mix the groups up so you couldn't sit next to your friends. Oh, you know who forgot about?
What?
Who people always forget about? Demetria McKinney.
Oh my God! She was the extra.
She was there. She actually was there.
She was there.
She had no dialogue or anything like that, but she was there.
No.
Sorry, Demetria. Next season, you can watch at home with the rest of us.
With Roger Baum.
With Roger Baum. But yes, the dinner takes place, and Cynthia and Portia have their confrontation, but not. So some things are resolved, and then it moves over to Phaedra and Kenya, who've been having issues for a few years now.
Yeah, and then it ends the night with Phaedra agreeing to have a serious sit-down conversation with Kenya, which you fast forward to the preview for next week, you see them both crying, and it looks like they've kind of made up. So I'm very curious to see what that's going to be about.
Jack Daniels will make you cry every time.
All right.
I bet you.
Yeah, so that's our reality roundup for your Monday.
Yes,
so
it is.
We got one hot topic for you today, which just was announced.
Well, before we do that, we have to go back to Nene, who really wasn't on the show this week. Nene is about to be on our TV screens all the time now.
And it is the best news ever. I've been wanting this to happen.
It depends on who you ask.
I've been wanting this to happen since day one. Nene and Kim Zolciak are having their own spin-off show called Nene and Kim Road to Success, where they're going to kind of be traveling, and it's going to be amazing. I love those two together, so I was so excited to find out about this show.
The only way I will watch that show is if they have Deshaun Snow, Sheree Whitfield, and Lisa Wu on there with them.
Other than that, you can watch the reruns on that, but it's gonna be amazing. I'm excited about it. And then Bravo also released, some Tardy for the Party is getting a new season, which I don't know who watches that show. I don't watch this show.
I didn't know that even still came on.
Married to Medicine is getting a spinoff. Married to Medicine Houston. So I'm very curious to see what's gonna be on that.
I'll go with that one. I'll go with that.
And so yeah, Bravo is really just kind of having some exciting shows coming up. So
yeah.
Ready?
So moving right on to a Broadway classic.
Yeah, so
Nene Leakes, you could have been in this too.
Well, so every year for the past 2 years, NBC has kind of resurrected their Broadway on TV kind of series. And so the first year they did Sound of Music with Carrie Underwood. This past year they did Peter Pan with Allison Williams, Brian Williams' daughter.
Okay.
And now this year, today they just announced that NBC that they are doing The Wiz.
Yay!
And not only
he's on down the road.
You can't win. That's not, even though that's not in the musical.
But you know what? They'll find a way to stick that in.
They should. But you know what? Not only is it just going to be on TV for one night, but Cirque du Soleil productions are transitioning on, and it's coming back to Broadway in 2016. So I am so excited about this because if you've ever seen this, first of all, The Wiz is just amazing. If you've ever seen a Cirque show, it's freaking amazing. And those two together, it's just going to be...
It's a lethal combo.
Yeah,
I'm excited about
Pippin, if you've seen Pippin on Broadway, that was kind of like a
I did see Pippin on Broadway.
Yeah. And it was crazy, so I can only imagine what Oz is going to look like. But
I'm looking forward to it.
Let's talk about Dreamcast. So Dorothy, who do you think would be a good Dorothy?
Ashanti.
We tried that.
We tried that once before.
It was not good. I think Keke Palmer would be a good Dorothy.
Can she sing it?
She was Cinderella.
I know, but that's
And she sings on Disney and Nickelodeon stuff. She sings really well. You could go to her YouTube page, everybody. Type in Keke Palmer, and she has a whole bunch of covers with her just sitting at home, chilling, singing, and she goes in.
Stacey Francis.
Who else would be Dorothy? Sasha Allen from the. Ever seen The Voice? She's playing in Pippin right now. I think she'd be good. What about the Scarecrow?
Scarecrow, I'm down with. Okay, the Scarecrow I had some questions on. I knew I want to be the Tin Man.
Okay. Well, I think the Scarecrow would be a good Bruno Mars. I think he has a nice soulful voice. I think he has some good little moves. You don't think so?
The Scarecrow?
Yeah.
He's the most dancingest of all the characters in the show.
Well, true.
You need a dancer for that.
True. What about Jason Derulo? Alright, Tin
You
Man.
also think you can dance. He's busy.
Alright,
Tin Man, I was thinking about my main man, Chris Brown.
Chris Brown?
Seriously.
But see, Chris Brown, I'm not
He's
here for
tall.
him. But I'm not here for
and-
Chris Brown right now because Chris Brown, no.
Oh,
He's
because
not Chris
we
Brown.
heard about that little Carucci situation and all
Yeah.
that. Yeah.
Um,
Well, then who you got for the Tin
Tin Man, I think, would be good. What about David Allen Greer? You don't think he would be good? Alright, what about,
Precious Lord.
what about, the Lion?
Oh, the Lion needs to be the dude that played in Aladdin on Broadway.
Oh my God! I said the same thing.
that dude.
Yes, there's a black guy in Aladdin, and I just forgot his name. I wrote it down.
But you should do it.
It's on my Facebook.
You need to go talk to your agent right now.
The guy from Kimmy Schmidt.
Kimmy Schmidt.
That guy.
They duplicate the same purpose. Actually.
Shoot, I can't think of anyone their name, but they're two great Broadway actors.
Yes, they're very loud.
What about Eveline?
Eveline should be Nell Carter.
Is she alive?
Not for a long time, but she should be. But
God bless her.
God bless her. Give me a break.
I think Jennifer Hudson would be a good Eveline.
She's too small.
I mean,
You know, you have to get. You
they
got to
put
get.
them traptions on her.
No, Missy. No, not Missy. Can't do it neither.
Like, don't.
Come on, there in that joint.
You can
Get your freak on. Oh, like.
don't nobody bring me no bad news.
Ooh, that sounds
Get
hot,
your
yo.
freak on.
That sounds hot.
Missy. Stacey Francis.
Stacey Francis would make a bomb Toto. if you ask
What
me.
about Miss Wan? I think Cicely Tyson.
Miss One could be played by none other than Lanithia Leaks. She'd be like,
Well, you know, if Nene could sing, she would be a great
Eveline.
Eveline.
No,
I think she'd be so good as Eveline.
she's but Kenya Moore always says that she's a man.
What about The Wiz? Alright, well, what about The Wiz? Who do you think The Wiz would be?
So the Wiz is somebody who actually got in trouble yesterday. For some comments he made about main man Bruce Jenner. But you know what? I think that Jamie Foxx would make a pretty good Wiz.
You know who I think would be a very good Wiz? Kevin Hart. I think he would be hilarious as The Wiz. And I think it'd be funny to have like a short Wiz because, he's short and he's supposed to be a powerful man. I think he'd be hilarious as The Wiz.
So remember, the Wiz sings.
Well, Stacey Francis. Do the vocals.
Oh, Jesus.
And then lastly, Glinda. Who would be Glinda?
Glinda, make a really good Glinda.
Stacey Francis. I think Gladys Knight would be a good
Gladys Knight
Glinda.
would be a good Glinda.
Audra McDonald, I think, would be good. What about Roberta Flack?
Roberta Flack could make a good one.
Tamala?
Tamala Mann would make an interesting Glinda. She would
be
sing
like an angel.
She was an angel.
Take me to
She'd make it real, like religious and
to Kansas.
just like that.
Yes.
Or what about Homegirl?
Beyonce. Actually, I did have Beyonce. Beyonce would be great as Glinda and make a small little appearance. I am here for that.
It's minimal commitment. She could do it real quick.
I am here for that. Beyonce as Glinda. Well, guys, that's all the time we have for today. Thank you so much for tuning in. We'll see you guys next time. Share the word with your friends about this show.
Living room. The living room. Come on now. We keeping you on the phone.
Roll the credits.
All right.
He's on down
the road. He's on down the road. The living room. 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 Hey, hey, hey.
I love you, Stacey.